The big news yesterday, obviously, was the death of Barbara Bush. So Barbara Bush, the wife to one president and the mother of another. The universal admiration for Barbara Bush was really something nice, I think, in an era where everybody seems to be at each other's throats over politics. A couple of things are worth noting right off the bat. First of all, if you look at all the obituaries, it says that Barbara Bush was most famous, obviously, for, as I say, being the wife of one president and the mother of another. There's this weird idea that goes around in feminist circles that being a wife and being a mother is somehow degrading to women. That somehow it is what you do, not in your relationship with others, but what you do in your career that matters most. Well, for the vast majority of human beings, it is what you do in your family life and the kind of children that you raise that is going to be your final legacy on the world. Right? Barbara Bush said this herself in 1990. She was speaking at Wellesley. She was protested in 1990, so this just shows how long these college protests have been going on. But Barbara Bush, who was then First Lady of the United States, she talked about why family was valuable in life in 1990 at a graduation.
So I want to offer a new legend. The winner of the hoop race will be the first to realize her dream, not society's dreams, her own personal dream. And who knows? Somewhere out in this audience may even be someone who will one day follow in my footsteps and preside over the White House as the president's spouse. And I wish him well.
Okay, so she's a person who definitely understood the value of family. One of the charming clips that was going around yesterday, as well as a clip from 2011, George H.W. Bush and Barbara were on the Today Show together, and they read with their granddaughter, actually, and George W. Bush's daughter, and they read, George H.W. read some love letters that he'd written to Barbara, and you can sort of see their relationship encapsulated in this short clip.
December 12th, 1943, my darling Bar. This should be a very easy letter to write.
My grandparents have been writing each other love letters for more than 60 years.
I love you, precious, with all my heart, and to know that you love me means my life. 6, 1994. For Barbara Pierce from GHWB. Will you marry me? Oops, I forgot you did that 49 years ago today. I was very happy on that day in 1945, but I'm even happier today. You've given me joy that few men know. I've climbed perhaps the highest mountain in the world, but even that cannot hold a candle to being Barbara's husband. Mom used to tell me, now, George, don't walk ahead.
You never listened to your mother.
Little did I know I was only trying to keep up with Barbara Pierce from Onondaga Street in Rye, New York.
Oh.
I love you.
I love you, too.
No, Gimpy, why are we such criers?
You know what? You could be Speaker of the House.
Okay, so Barbara Bush, she was definitely a pistol. There's a good piece in the New York Times by Christopher Buckley, who is a novelist and speechwriter for VP-HW from 81 to 83, and he talks about exactly who Barbara Bush was. He said that he learned a couple of lessons from her. He said there was no falsity, no pretense, no guile, no spin, no art to Barbara Bush, who died on Tuesday. She was what you see is what you get, avant la lettre. Americans are always clamoring about the virtues of transparency. Barbara Bush was as transparent as distilled water. Who but she would have said of her own adored son as he waited to campaign for the presidency, if we can't find more than 2 or 3 families to run for high office, that's silly. There are a lot of great families. There are other people out there that are very qualified. We've had enough Bushes. Thanks, Mom. If she was in Mrs. No Nonsense, she also had a playful, even girlish side to her. On one occasion, I was alone in a freight elevator with Mr. and Mrs. Bush and their Secret Service detail when it got stuck between floors. Stuck elevators are viewed grimly by the Secret Service. The atmosphere quickly elevated to conditioned red with hands reaching for the holstered Glock 9s, orders barked into wrist mics and all the rest. The Bushes were blithe. I was standing behind them. Mr. Bush's fingers reached for Mrs. Bush's derriere and gave it a pinch. She turned to him and grinned like an 18-year-old. Hiya, fella, she said. So I can claim to have witnessed a primal scene between Mom and Dad Bush. So just, she was apparently a really good woman by virtually all accounts. And there were tributes that came in from the Clintons. There were tributes that came in from the Obamas, and class all across the aisle.